Happy Monday, everyone. Carmen Broxma here with Choose Joy with Carmen. And back again for another episode of my MoJOY Monday. And you're probably looking at the screen and thinking, I thought we were going to make a card. Why does she have a towel and a lotion dispenser in front of us? So I just wanted to show you that today's card is being inspired by how I have my towels and stuff in my bathroom. And I love this look. And so I thought, how can I recreate that in a card? And so we're kind of going to be doing some ink blocking today and trying to, get something of this look that I was inspired by for our card. And so what I'm going to be using today is we're going to be using our blocks. We're going to be inking up our blocks, and we're going to be making this card, this like blocked design. And we're also going to be using items that are retiring that make me very sad. And we're going to be using this set here, the Positive Thoughts. I love this set, and so we're going to be using this along with the dies. And these are the dies we're going to be using, and I'm also using all the in colors that are going away as well. So what I've done on all my paper that we are going to be using to die cut is I've already attached some adhesive on the back so that when I die cut these images out, that they'll already have adhesive on the back. That'll make my life a whole lot easier, especially when you get this really intricate stuff like this. So we're going to be doing that, and then we're using let's pull that in here, the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. I am really surprised that this one's going away, and I just love it. And so I'm really sad that it's going away, but I'm just glad I own it. So, because I'm going to keep using it in my own projects, because I love it. And so, it's just really sad that this is going away. So if you did not get this, I'm not sure if it's still available, but if you didn't get it and you're thinking about getting it, then you might want to hurry up and get it. So, okay, so that's what we're using today, and it is going to be kind of a messy job. When I was creating it yesterday, I got ink all over this, so I'm going to have to really protect my surface. So let's go ahead and get started with our card. Okay, I just wanted to show you that I've been working behind the scenes on different papers on using this technique, and I will show you those here in a minute. But I just kind of want to show you what the technique is and what that looks like. So I'm going to take a piece of, for this project, I'm going to just use a piece of basic white cardstock. And I am going to, and I'll show you the other papers and what they look like. I have a piece of baby wipe here, unscented baby wipe, because it gets really messy, as you can see. So I'm just going to show you a few tricks. So we're going to start with just jade, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take my first block that I want on my cardstock, and I'm going to ink it up by squishing it into the ink pad so that I make sure I have plenty of ink on there, right? But that's a lot of ink. So I am going to, I wanted it to cover it, but I'm going to off stamp it 3 times because I'm going to be spritzing it, and I'm using the spritzers that come in the catalog. And I guess I'll move this. I just kind of want to show you, I hate to spritz it here. Let me spritz it off camera, and then I'll come back and show you. I'll tell you how many times I'm spritzing it. So I'm going to spritz it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking for it to be really runny, because I'm hoping that with that, that's going to make my thing. But before you turn it over your cardstock, make sure you turn it over off to the side, because see, it dripped. And I did one earlier and it dripped right on my cardstock. But unless you like that look, you might want that dripped look, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So now I'm going to take this and place it on my cardstock kind of where I want it. So I want it kind of down here in the bottom right hand corner for my first block. And I'm just going to stamp it there, and I'm going to let it sit there a minute. And I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll try to zoom in. But it's starting to like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to zoom in. Let me see if I can pull this up and zoom in. See, it's starting to separate. And I think that is, see how it's starting to separate down there and turning white. So that's my clue that it's done. And I'll lift it up, and then your block should be pretty much clean. But the reason why I off stamped it was because I don't want it really, really, really dark, because I'm going to be stamping on these images, and I don't, I want it to be kind of light. So then you would just move on to the next color, blocking color that you would want. And I'm going to show you the other pieces now. I'm not going to do this throughout the whole thing, because I'm going to show you what it looks like and how I did it. So now you know how I did it, but now let me show you. This was regular paper that I did. And see what happens when you get it really, really wet. And when I lifted it up, there was still some, I lifted it up too soon before it actually soaked into the paper. So when I lifted it up, it kind of added that splotch over there, which is not a bad thing. But I just wanted to tell you that's what happens. Then this is, I decided to try it on the thick basic white. And the one thing I was noticing with this is I was having a problem getting it to like really move around on the paper. So like that's why this part here and up here wasn't full. If you notice, like here, I didn't have that problem. Where this one, I had problem getting it all inked up. But if you like that look, that's fine too. And the paper is warped. But let me tell you, once you run it through the embossing folder like we're going to do, it is gorgeous. And it'll take that part out. Then I tried it on some watercolor paper. And this is the look. So here's just the basic white, and this is the watercolor paper on my left. And when you're on watercolor paper, that makes it move a lot more. So when I would lift it up off here, there was always puddles, because, the watercolor paper doesn't soak in right as well, because watercolor needs to move around on the top. But if you like that look, that extra, stuff, that's another option. And then I tried it on the shimmering paper. So it has shimmer to it, but I thought I would try that on there. And again, it's not as blocked. It moves around kind of like the watercolor paper does. So those are the different papers. So that's how you're going to get that. And so basically what I did is I did the green, then I moved up and I did the yellow. Well, let me show you the one that I finished. So here's the one that I'm going to work on today. So if you noticed, I felt that I put that up too high, so I did the next time I did the bumblebee kind of close to that, and then that allowed me to figure out where to put the Just Jade again. Then I came over here and I did the cinnamon cider, and then I did the long strip of the bumblebee here. Then I came and did the magenta madness up here in the corner. And see, it's going to look different every time, right? Obviously, I didn't move, I have more gap here between this one. So you're never going to get it to look exactly the same. And like this, I mean, I love this layout here. I just didn't like that it had of a big gap there, but it really doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's going to all look different. But on this one, I guess I didn't have enough water or enough ink on there. And so it didn't fill in that spot there. But since we're going to be stamping over it, I'm going to leave that and just see what it looks like. I guess what you could do is if you didn't want that, you could come in with your watercolor painters, pick up a little bit of the ink and kind of put that in there. But I didn't want to ruin that because I think that would give it a different look. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it like this. And I noticed that my border is pretty accurate. It's a little more up at the top, but I think I can adjust that with how I'm going to decorate this. So I'm going to work on this piece, I think, is what I want to do. So what I've decided to do is stamp so the words from the stamp set, I'm going to use the hugs, prayers, and love, and I'm going to put it in this area down here. Now, I had done one earlier, and I did, I was doing the same color on top of the same color, but I really liked the one I did when I did the Misty Moonlight on top of that Just Jade. So that's what I'm going to choose to do on this one as well. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, and I'm going to stamp this right kind of down here in the corner like that. And let's just hope that oh good, that looks really good. I was worried. I always worry that I'm going to mess it up because I don't want to have to go back and redo all that. Okay, so there is that, and I love that on top of the Just Jade. I love the Misty Moonlight on that. So now let me go finish the rest of my stamping because I don't want to bore you. And I will come back and show you the result, and then we will move on from there. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back to show you the rest of the stamping. So what I did was on this bumblebee block, I stamped in the cinnamon cider because I'm going to use some of the die cuts now to continue to embellish this, and I will show you what I'm going to do with that. I did the Misty Moonlight here on the Misty Moonlight. I did the Just Jade on the Just Jade block up there, and I don't know, see, you can see the difference between that and the Misty Moonlight on the words. And then I did the Magenta Madness over here and offset it on that block. So now the rest of this is going to be decorated with die cuts, and then we're going to run it through the embossing folder, and I'll show you that. I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to take the pieces that I showed you earlier that I've already put adhesive on the back, and I'm going to go and I'm going to die cut my pieces. And then I will be back, and I'm also going to emboss it. I'm going to also emboss this first with the Tasteful Textile 3D. Die cut my images, and then I'll come back and show you how I'm going to put those on the card. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back and got all my pieces die cut. But the first thing I want to do is I want to get the card base out. And I want to put this on there because since it's still a little warped, even after, look at how pretty that embossing folder does. but it's still a little warped, so I want to get it adhered on here and then put it underneath a heavy block so that I can, you know, work on it from there, and then hopefully that'll smash it down there that we need to. So because it's embossed, I suggest you use a liquid glue because um, because of the indentions. The liquid glue will seep into those areas where the Stamp and Seal doesn't do as well of a job, in my opinion. I just noticed that from other cards that I've done. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of this liquid glue, put on the back of here, and then we'll go ahead and put it on the front of the card. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that turned over and make sure that, okay, I'm going to try to get this nice and even. And I just decided to use the basic white as my card base because there's so many colors here. I mean, you could pick another color if you wanted to pick one of them, but I didn't know which one, and I just thought white on white would be very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to set the largest block on that, and I'm going to set that aside while I start getting my die cut pieces ready, and then that way that heaviness will help that adhere down. Okay, so let's work on this one. And what I've noticed whenever you put adhesive on the back, that sometimes it's better to just pull the adhesive off and then hope that all the little intricate stuff pops out with it. If not, then you could see how a lot of that popped out. I don't know if you can see that. So that's pretty in itself, isn't it? So, but not all of them pulled out. There's still a few, so that gives me an opportunity to go from the front and punch them out and get them out of there. But I think that's a whole lot easier than trying to put adhesive in those little areas. Okay, so I'm going to set that upside down where the adhesive is not down, and I'm going to work on my next piece. Again, that's this one, and I'm just going to try to get that adhesive off of there, which is not always an easy thing. I mean, I crack up at these ladies because they're like, oh, well, they use the take your pick, and I guess I just don't know how to use it. So this seems to, once you get it going. Okay, so there's that piece. Ooh. I'm going to set that aside till I'm ready for it, and then I'm going to work on my next piece here, which is the butterfly. And get that out of there and pull that adhesive off the back. Okay. Yeah, sure I am. I'm just not good at this take your pick tool like these ladies are. There. I guess you get used to it after you use it more often, but let me get that started. There we go. Get that off of there, and it looks like that pulled off everything that we need. So set that aside. I just want to get them all ready to adhere to the front of the card. Okay, so now let's get this little guy and pull the adhesive off the back. And if you don't like using the adhesive back, you know, you could definitely just do it however you like it. I just hate the liquid glue on these little pieces because then I get it all over my fingers. I don't know. But then look at my fingers now. They're a mess with that technique. I mean, my fingers right now are just a mess. Look at, and I've cleaned them. But, you know, that blocking technique was kind of messy, but it's well worth it. Okay, then our last one, our last piece here. Now this one kind of should be easier because it doesn't need anything to pull out of there. It's just a decorative piece. Okay, so now that we've got all of our little die cuts done, let's go ahead and pull the card back in. Get all these little pieces out of the way here. And pull the card back in and continue working on it. So I decided with this one, I want it right on top of the other flower. So I'm just going to find a nice spot for it and place that there. This one right here, I want it right on top of the Just Jade. And so I'm going to put it like right where that middle, whatever that is there, filigree or whatever, I'm going to put it right there. Add that. Then this one, I wanted it down here next to the words. I thought that was really cute how it tied in the two corners. Then I'm going to take, since I stamped my butterfly in the cinnamon cider, I wanted to get some of that bumblebee, the color in there. So I went ahead and I want to put this right in the middle of that butterfly, like that. So then it has a little color there on top of that. And then this last piece, we needed something in this corner over here. So I'm going to start it, I don't know, do I want to start it this far up? I think what I need to do, I should have done that first because I wanted to cut it off. So what I'm going to do is find out where I want it, and then I'm going to cut off a piece at the bottom here. So I think we'll cut it off right. I think what I'm going to do is just kind of go around that little circle part there and just cut that off. So it kind of still looks the same. And then that way I can run it down the middle of this yellow, and then it'll run down the side of that block that's in that same color. So there you go. I just love it. I know it was a lot of work, pretty dirty work, but it really turned out nice, and I think my inspiration for my bathroom was a great way to decide the card. And remember that spot there that was not fully done and it was had that white? Well, when I put the feather over there, it covered most of it, and it's really cute. I mean, I think it turned out really nice. So then the inside I already did. I didn't want to bore you all. So I just took each of the images that were on the front that I stamped, and I stamped them at the bottom, added another of that bumblebee die on top of the butterfly, and then you can write your note or whatever up here. So it's a matter of just getting it folded over, and there is the card for this week. I love it. So there you go. There is this week's episode of my MoJOY Monday. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I want to thank you if you're a current subscriber of mine. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And if you are new to my channel, and this is the first time seeing it and you'd like to see more, I would appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. And that helps grow my channel, and it seems um, to be able to get this out for other people to see. And I think that's how we grow our channel. So I would appreciate it if you would do that. And I hope you all have a great week. Hope you have a great Easter. And we will see you after Easter for our next episode of MoJOY Monday. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.